At, how close are you? Over.
Yeah, that's right.
Inspiration, maybe.
That's right.
This wouldn't be a train set if we didn't do one of the old favorites from way down south. They call me his funny face. Well, he's gonna cry. Tell him that I'll never wrong.
Just want to get this stuff to a base.
Where's Steven?
That's what I heard lately was this radio. Yes!
gives me great pleasure to introduce John Rogers, the President of the National Railway Historical Society, who will lead us through the dedication of the 494. John?
Thank you. Today is the 5th annual Glory Days of the Railroad, and it's been 150 years since the rails were first laid in White River Junction, and 150 years since the first train reached Lebanon, New Hampshire in November of '47. This festival commemorates those historic events and signals the official kickoff of the restoration of locomotive 494, the caboose, and the tender that's behind me across the track here.
Wrong event, right?
Anyone wishing to learn more about this or contribute to this restoration effort, please visit the display over there by the locomotive. This would not have been possible without the efforts of many people. First and foremost would be Senator Leahy, who was right here behind me, I believe. Yes. Without which we wouldn't be the recipients of an Inter-Surface Transportation Enhancement Act grant of $82,500, which certainly is going to go a long ways towards the rehabilitation of this locomotive. Jeffrey Squires of the Vermont Agency of Transportation, the town of Hartford, who is represented here today by Randy Wagner of the Select Board, and Ray Sarasoli, Tad Nunes, both of the Hartford Parks and Recreation, and a special thanks to Tad, who single-handedly started this whole thing some 4 years ago. Without him, we'd still be at square one, I think. Attorney George Wins has to be given a lot of credit for his efforts in the Vermont Railway Museum in maintaining the locomotive in a condition that it's been in since 1957 here and keeping it from the scrapper's torch. The railway enthusiasts of Massachusetts are to be given a lot of credit because they were the ones who wrested it from Mr. McGinnis of the Boston Maine Railroad when he was going to give it away to Nelson Blount down at the Cranberry Bogs. That's a whole story in itself. Larry Lowenthal of the Amherst Railway Society and Clark Griffiths of the Mascoma Savings Bank Foundation are here today. And Karen Songhurst is flitting around here somewhere. Oh, she's behind me also here. She was the instigator of the festival events 5 years ago, and we owe her a lot of thanks for this. William Wood is here from the New England region of the National Railway Historical Society, and we wish to thank him deeply for his efforts and assistance in forming the White River chapter of the National Railway Historical Society. Finally, I want to give Steve Taylor a hearty thank you for his rendition of Daniel Webster's speech that was given in 1847. With that, I'll turn this over to Senator Leahy. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and it's a lot of fun for Marcel and me to be here today. I look around, I think the thing we noticed the most as the trains went by were the faces of the children. You notice the kids in the cars that they've gone by, or even the little train just went by here, and that's what I remember the most. As most of you know, I was born and raised in Montpelier, and every so often my dad would have to go to Boston on business, and we would come down here, change trains, and continue on down to Boston. For me, this was the greatest thing in the world. I'm sure my father thought it was just a lot of work to do. As a kid, it was the most wonderful thing to ride in the train, or I'd visit my grandparents in South Reigate, and I'd ride over the train from Montpelier. The engineer would let me up in the cab, would let me toot the whistle a couple of times. When you're about 7 years old, 6 or 7 years old, that's pretty exciting. And so when I knew you were working on this, and thought of 494 over here, worked with all of you, got the iced tea grant, I can officially announce, which means, as they say, the check is in the mail. The $82,000 will be able to be here to preserve and keep that engine. And that would not have happened without all the hard work by the White River Junction chapter of the National Railway Historical Society, and everybody gets credit today. Could I make just one pitch? You might be too embarrassed to make. Support what White River is doing here. Support what it's doing here to preserve its downtown. Support what White River is doing to protect this heritage. This is a great heritage to our state. And I brought the check or the iced tea grant, which folks here did all the work to get. My wife and I are going to go over and visit that. I understand there's a place to collect money for added donations. We're going to make our donation. It won't, Bryce, don't get nervous, it's not going to be 82,000. But we're going to make our donation, and if you're having a good time, go over and put a little bit in the hat. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, sir.
I can make these pictures.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay?
We have been. We have been. All right.
My name is Jeff Squires. I'm the Deputy Secretary for Transportation for the state of Vermont, and I'm here on behalf of Governor Dean and Transportation Secretary Glenn Gershanek. And I want to echo the words of Senator Leahy on how exciting and proud a day this is for not just this community in this part of the state, but the entire state as we witness the rebirth of the rail mode of transportation. And I want to say to the Senator that it is through the partnership that we enjoy with Senator Leahy and his staff and the other members of the Vermont congressional delegation that many of these things are happening. We have a wonderful team, and we're working together as a team to be sure that we not only preserve and protect our heritage, but translate that into our future. This is sort of back to the future day. Rail was, but rail is, and rail will be. Vermont is a national leader in bringing passenger rail back as a equal player in our transportation system, and we at the Agency of Transportation are proud to be associated with that. So I want to commend White River Junction on this wonderful event. It's so great to see people here in the center of town, and see the buildings looking sharp and the merchants doing well. And that's the kind of thing you get when you use a mode of transportation that serves our village centers. So with that, I will commend everybody involved and look forward to our continued partnership to keep the wheels turning. Thank you very much.
Karen, if you would.
Well, the first thing, I'm Karen Songhurst. I'm very proud to say that I was the former director of the now Upper Valley Chamber of Commerce, formerly White River Area Chamber of Commerce. And because of that relationship, I can now tell you that I am very proudly serving this community and the rest of the state as the Rail Programs Administrator with the Agency of Transportation. And if I hadn't done that here, I wouldn't be in this position. So I'm really thrilled about that. I'd also like to very quickly and with all humbleness add that the first Glory Days really was something I came into, was already an active event in planning stages, and I feel I was helpful in bringing it to fruition, but there are many, 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 many other people who were already well advanced in that planning. I'm very happy to have been involved in the last 3 of them. And I also will tell you that I'm really thrilled today that for the first time I get to see everything as a viewer, spectator, and participant rather than running around trying to make sure everybody's in the right place. But again, as you all know, I'm a real big rail supporter, and as well as other modes of transportation and creating seamless transportation in the state. I'm also a real supporter of the project that's about to happen with restoration for the 494. And it's great to be here for the day, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Thanks.
Randy, if you would. My mother didn't want you with a warning.
I actually had the privilege of speaking to the crowd earlier today to get things kicked off this morning. But I definitely would like to thank all the people that are involved in bringing this grant and bringing the spirit into downtown White River. It's definitely nice to see blue sky and smiling faces in downtown, and We appreciate everyone that's come and everyone that's put in the hard work to make the day possible.
Great, thank you, Randy.
And Mr. Wood, if you would say a few words for us?
Thank you. Senator Leahy, all the wonderful people are here for this program. I bring you greetings from the National Railroad Historical Society. Our organization nationwide has over 20,000 members, and we are all, like your local chapter, working towards the improvement of rail transportation and the saving of history. So again, this is a marvelous day. I was very happy to see the Vermonter roll into town and unload a whole bunch of people to come to this program. And may I wish you all the very best, and thank you for inviting me.
I'm very happy today to be able to represent the Amherst Railway Society. We hold our meetings at the Amherst in Massachusetts, and every year in the first week in February we have what is almost certainly the largest train show in New England. And in most years, unless there's a 2-day blizzard, that show generates a surplus which we then try to plow back into supporting the railroad hobby in one way or another. The railroad interest, I think, is like a mansion with many rooms, and in each one of these rooms the inmates have a different hobby. In some cases it's preservation, it's researching railroad history, it's collecting this or that, modeling in one form or another, or just simply enjoying riding trains. And we realize that if this organization and this interest is going to keep prospering, we have to try to support it. Every year our club gets a certain number of applications for assistance in funding one project or another, and this year we are happy to lend our support in the amount of $2,000 to assist in the great preservation work that you're doing here in White River Junction. So I wish you all well in the future, and thank you.
And last but not least is Clark Griffiths from Mascoma Savings Bank Foundation. As most of the local people know around here, this bank does more than probably any other institution in the last 95, 96 years to preserving the Upper Valley area and to helping people when they need help. And we would like to thank them for their support. Clark, would you care to say a few words?
Well, the Mascoma Savings Bank Foundation is delighted that it can provide a little help for this project too. It's delightful to see such a wonderful group here, and the day is superb. So the bank foundation, of course, provides support for, I think, last count was 50 different organizations in the Upper Valley. We wish we could do more for each of them, but it's a lot of fun working with all of the groups. Thank you very much, John, and good luck.
Thank you. Now, before everybody disappears, we have a token of appreciation, which is nowhere near, as Senator Leahy said, the $82,500, but it is a memento of being here today and the fact that they've all contributed towards our project. So with that, I'd like to present each one of them with a commemorative coin, which shows the Boston Maine 494 on one side and the obverse is White River Junction on the back. So, Senator Leahy.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Great.
Hello, and all.
Wood? Nice.
Thank you very much.
Randy? Train, that's great.
I guess that wraps up this portion of the activity, so let's all have a good time.
I put these kind of things on display in my office.
Thank you.
They got newer versions.
I remember the first time I got to drive one of these, or in the first one of these decided in 1848, and then one of There you go, sweetheart. Good going. One brave kid. Want to go up ahead of me?
Sure. Tell you what, thank
I'll show you how to ring the bell. You ready?
Ready.
Okay, you can start the line now. I'm not going to leave. That's great. Jacketing. Can I just stay here?
All right. Not a bold step to be taken.
Thank you. Appreciate Senator. Once you get up there, you don't want to make it even bigger for this. We got okay, now you want to prove I did it? Here we go.
All right.
There you go. That's in it. It's kind of dangerous up here, doesn't it, Mike?
And it's a little rough for the folks in the front row. So, yes.
So the next pair we're going to do is a old classic, The Wreck of 97.
Hold your joints together and keep your locking clips. Because the LGB ones I've noticed have rotted. So with having the screw ones, even if they rot, you still get one side and still hold it on there.
Well, it had train station, so we rushed over there. They said,
We're going to move on quickly with these. If these aren't cleaned right away, we're going to keep drawing. 00536. Draw again. And the winner of the 130 drawing was Kurt Getrich. He won a $20 gift certificate. Does anybody out there who has not dropped their second half of their ticket in the barrel should do so now? It's Ted Nunez. So if you're down in the dining area, come to the opposite end of the upstairs hall, level 2.
Sorry, Hey folks, while we're enjoying this